Towel here again. So today I'm going to show you how to make a pizza. Prep the vegetables first, that's the first thing we'll be doing. Got a small onion. I'm going to use the claw hold on that onion to carefully cut off the top of the onion. Now the top of the onion is the part that didn't have, you can just see if you really carefully, there are roots there. We always leave that root area on. Okay, once we've done that, we turn the onion upside down onto that nice flat surface we've created. We make a bridge, cut the onion in half. We only need half an onion, so I'm just going to put that one out of the way, at half. I'm going to peel off the skin. Onions have got a papery skin on the outside. Sometimes one or two layers need to be removed. Just top those bits off. Claw, that's the claw hold, and then cut quite thin slices of onion. As you get towards your fingertips, you move them backwards. If you use this correct hold, it's virtually impossible to cut yourself. So my fingertips back a little more. And just discard that end bit that has the roots on. And that's my onions prepared. Pepper, holding it firmly with an open claw. Just going to cut down one side. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to cut down the other side. That for me will be enough pepper. I then go back to the claw. I cut strips. Again, move my fingertips back. Claw again. Now you'll notice I'm cutting the pepper from the dull side, not that shiny side. It's quite hard, that shiny side. It's easy to cut, and the knife is less likely to slip if you cut the pepper from, when you get to this point, from the dull side. I want these into little cubes. I'm then going to put a couple of them together and back to the claw, and I'm cutting small cubes or dice of pepper. I'm just going to get a couple more. Move my claw backwards as the knife comes closer to my fingertips. And there are my vegetables prepared. Just going to set those aside now. Vegetables. We now need to stretch out our dough. We're using a small baking tray, so this will be pizza probably for two or one very hungry person. I'm just going to knead the dough a little more because this dough has been frozen and now it's been defrosted. So we just need to knead the dough a little just to reactivate the yeast that was in there when we first made it. And it's literally just for 2 or 3 minutes, just to warm up the dough as well, because obviously it'll be quite cold if it's come out of the freezer. You would normally defrost it in the fridge if you've frozen the dough. You notice I've not put much flour down. You shouldn't need too much flour. If it's not sticking to your fingertips or to the work surface, then don't worry about extra flour. Now the easiest way I find to stretch this dough out for my tray is to do it by hand. Some people might find that they want to use a rolling pin. You can use a rolling pin. Personally, I find this easier. I'm just starting to flatten and stretch the dough slightly. I'm flattening the dough. I'm thinking about the shape, like I said, of the tray. Once I get to a sort of similar tray shape and it's a decent size, I'm going to lay it onto the tray, bring the tray in front of me, and using the flats of my fingers, I'm just going to stretch the dough out until it reaches the 4 corners of the tray. If you find you're overstretching an area and you make a little hole, just literally pinch it together. If you've properly taken off a third of your bread mix when you've made bread in school with us, then your pizza dough will fit this tray perfectly. You can see there's a little hole there. I'm just going to, like I said, just pinch that together. This hasn't got to be perfect. As long as it's roughly the size of the tray, that's absolutely fine. That's my dough stretched out. The next thing I need to do is to put some tomato puree on there. We're going to put, it's about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. I'm not a massive lover of tomato puree, so I'm going to be a little bit mean with it. So I'm stretching it back down a little bit. It snuck out to the corner there. Using the palette knife, I'm just going to carefully spread it over the base of the pizza. I'm going to leave a gap all the way around the edge of about 1.5 centimetres, roughly. Tomato puree's got quite a lot of sugar in it, and when it cooks, it turns almost black, so we don't want that showing on the dough. We want to be able to cover all of that with our toppings. That's my puree spread out. And my vegetables. And then I've also got some meat that I'm going to put on. The chorizo, I'm going to use whole. I'm just going to use the clove and very quickly just roughly chop the sweet chili chicken. We don't want those chunks to be too big. I'm going to start with layering the chicken. It's very low in fat, the chicken, so if you leave it on the very top of the pizza, it'll dry out too much. That's fine. Then I'm going to put some onions. You can add whatever toppings you like. If you don't like onions, you don't have to put onions on. You can put something else on. If you like a ham and pineapple, or just a cheese and tomato with some pepper. Then my peppers, my orange peppers are going on. Got a couple of nice textures going on through the pizza. That's fine. A couple more over there. Then we're going to add the cheese. Now the chorizo, or if you use pepperoni, is quite high in fat, so we're going to leave that on the top. I'm going to sprinkle my cheese, about 100 grams of cheese over the top. You can use mozzarella for this, which is the Italian cheese that you often have on pizzas, that stretchy cheese. You know, if you bite into pizza, sometimes you get a string, like a piece of dough, of cheese that seems to stretch. That's mozzarella. So make sure I've got that puree covered. There. And then lastly, goes on my chorizo. Yeah, that's our pizza finished.